Kathy, and I'm doing something a little different. This is not something I've done before, so hopefully it all works out great. So I'm going to be doing a tutorial, and this is going to be on how to make your own mock-ups of cross-stitch and stuff. So basically, I like to stitch on hand-dyed fabrics. My go-to is Colour Cascades. They're an Aussie one, so I don't have to pay as much in words difficult. I don't have to pay as much for the actual product and for like shipping, and there's no exchange rates to worry about and stuff. So they are my go-to. So what I like to do though sometimes is, or what I like to do most of the time, is to do a mock-up of what a design is going to look like on a particular hand-dyed fabric before I buy it, so that I have an idea of what it's going to look like and I know what colour I'm going for. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that now. As you can see my screen. I'm pointing over here because I've got my recording thing set up there so I can see what I'm doing as well and make sure it's recording everything. So I just use Adobe Photoshop, and I have the version CS, no numbers or anything. It's a really old version. It's really simple to use. It's pretty cheap if you can still get a hold of it. Photoshop is really expensive to buy in Australia, so that's why I haven't upgraded. Basically, any program where you can erase and make layers of your image, you can do a mock-up quite easily. So yeah, so we have our Photoshop open, and go down to here, which you can't see my mouse when I go down onto my bar, but I've put some example ones in here. So that's a mock-up that I did for one of my Nora Corbetts. And then I have this one that I did for my sister. Again, like, they're pretty basic and stuff. There's another mock-up that I did. So I've just saved some random like pattern photos that I have on here. So we're going to pick one. We'll go with this one, this Mirabilia. Just drag it into Photoshop, and I might do that one as well after, so minimize that. Alright, so we have this in Photoshop. I like to keep the arrow tool selected, the move tool, just because then I'm not going to accidentally erase something. There we go, back to my pictures folder, and I have my, these are all sample images from Colour Cascades website that I've just saved so that I don't have to keep going back to the website. So this is actually a Nora Corbett that I've ordered and should be here in the next couple days, and I picked the fabric, and this is how I did the mock-up. So you go through and you think, maybe that one, drag it into Photoshop and it'll open. Let's try that one. Let's try, let's go with the green. They're just whatever ones you want. You just drag them in. Yeah, let's leave it to that. So then I move them so that I can see all of them at the same time. Obviously, they're not the same size images. Like I said, they're just the ones from the website. So I'm gonna make this one bigger just for a minute. Alright, so the first thing I do is I go, before I do that, layers. Alright, so you go to your layers panel here in Photoshop. It'll be different through different programs. And you right click and you want to duplicate the layer. You don't have to name it. I usually don't bother, but you can if you need to. Then we highlight this one again and we delete it. So we have one of the same ones. So if we turn that off, you can see the checkers, and the checkers means that it's transparent underneath. So when we go to our eraser tool and we get rid of this border bit, the checkers will come up, which means that there's nothing underneath it, so it's transparent. So I'm just going to get rid of this frame bit. Now, the reason I use Photoshop specifically for this is because of this. It's the magic wand tool, and you can set its tolerance here, which sets the range when sampling color. So basically, you just click it on the area that you want to get rid of, and you hit the delete button, and it's done. And then you go to select and deselect, and back to that one. So as you can see, it's not a perfect, it's not perfect. So what you can then do is you can go back into your eraser tool, you can make it really small, and you can go in and you can just do that way. And you can zoom in. How much can you zoom in for Photoshop? Go to that. You can zoom in. I think you can just keep zooming. Yeah, so you can go to 1600%, which you don't need that much. So, but if you want to get like a, if you want to get really specific and get down to the pixels, you can do that. I need to move that back down. So yeah, I usually don't go too far down. And one of the tips is if you are going down and erasing, just zoom back in. Don't do it in blocks. Like, don't just go zoom. Because if you fuck up and you have to undo it, which you can do, you end up having to undo a bunch of extra work. And you have to do it all over again. So, yeah. Just be mindful of the way that you erase too, because, yeah. Alright, so I'm just going to leave that there. You can go in and you can do it as detailed as you want. This is also a really pixelated copy of the pattern image, so, yeah, it's not the best quality. The higher quality that you start with, the better off it'll be. Yeah, so then you make sure this is the one that you have active in the window, and with your move tool selected, you hold down the left mouse button and you move it in, and it will do a copy. And then you just make sure that it's active again and do it again. So you can't do it this way. If you just, if you're active in this window and you go to drag it, it's just not going to do it. You got to make it that your window, that your active one. Do that, and there we go. And there's your mock-ups, and it's done. So that's for, that's a pretty easy one to do. And then if you just want to delete the layers, you just, delete that. Go back in. Delete that. Go back in. And delete. And go back in and delete. And then don't save. Alright, so this is another fairly easy one. Because it's got the signature there and the Heaven and Earth Designs thing along there, those are harder to get rid of if you want to do a mock-up, so I usually don't bother. But again, we go back around, duplicate, delete, we do that, and delete, deselect, move, and then we can move it in. Alright, so probably should have only just done it to one in hindsight. Yeah. Alright, so say, so back to this one. So say we've done, the magic wand tool and we've erased it and stuff, and we've decided that, because she's got white skin here, we want to keep some of that white. So we can step backward, and it puts that back in. Then you go to deselect, then you go to your magic wand tool, and you can lower the tolerance. So if you put that at 25, and then hit it, it doesn't take as much from in here. So if we lower it again to, say, 15, now it's left, you can't see if I'm pointing. Okay, so now it's left all the white here, except for this tiny little patch here. It's left all the white in the middle there too. So then you can hit delete, and back to your move tool, and deselect, and so now we have the white bit on our arm. We also have some little white bits along the top in here, but yeah. So again, say, oh well, now we don't want any of the white in there. Step backwards, deselect that's a fly, buzzing around my face. We can up the tolerance. So we up it to 50. And it takes even... Again, I'm pointing at the fucking screen. Right. So then it takes all of this here, and all of the white in the hands, whereas it didn't before. So now we're left with that, which, you know, doesn't look very good at all. But yeah. So you just play with the magic wand tool. Like I love the magic wand tool. It's fantastic. It's like the lazy way to do it, basically. But it also means that it's quick. So again, as long as you can make layers in a program, you can do this. It's not a huge issue. If we go back in here, this one's a little bit more complicated, and we'll try that one. And where's the other one there? Okay, so this one, let's try this one. Alright, because I usually get an image like this, with like their preview image kind of thing. I've never really tried to do it from a picture of a stitched item, so let's lower that back down to 33. Oh. See, I fucked that up. There we go. Alright. So, duplicate. Even I'm not infallible. Okay, so let's try that again. And delete. And now, you're gonna do that, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, so this is the problem I have with my version of Photoshop CS. Is that if I want to use the magic wand tool more than once in one picture, it crashes. So, give me a second. Can I pause this? Alright, and we are back from the silly error. Right, so that's one of the problems I have with Photoshop. I don't know if it's just my version or whether it's an overall thing, but it's a thing. So, I'm going to go back into my thing after I duplicate the background. Let's duplicate, delete. I'm going to up the tolerance and see if that works any better. Up it to 60. Alright, so it does take out a decent chunk of it at least. Alright, so then deselect. And I'm not going to use the wand tool again because, yeah. So as you can see, it's sort of... Oops, wrong way. It's left all of the holes in the Ada. So I'd probably have to step it up a little bit more if I want it to work properly. But this is where I can... Yeah, that's an eraser. I'm just going to drop that back down. And that's where I can just do this. So, this is what I told you not to do, and the other part is to just like do a whole section, because if you have to undo it, then you've got to redo all that whole section. So, but yeah, and this can be a little difficult to do too if you don't have like steady hands and stuff. It can take a lot of practice. It took me a long time. I used to do pixel dolls for fun. If you're wondering what a pixel doll is, you get a pixel doll base. I used to get mine off DeviantArt, and you draw clothes and hair and makeup and whatever on them, pixel by pixel. I used to do it for fun because that's just what I do. Apparently, I actually think I might still have it. So yeah. But let's just, let's just leave it at that. Let's just take out some of this little bit and stuff. A square brush would probably be really good. Would be better for doing cross-stitchy stuff. That's because you can like sort of get in to where the stitches are properly. This is like, yeah. This is just super rough. See, I just sort of went into there. That's fine. We'll leave it at that. I'm just gonna get back out. Alright. So then, again, making sure that's the active window, we just drag it over into there, and we have an overlay. And it's not the right size, but you get the idea. That's really not the right size. Yeah. Yeah, so you get the idea. Oh, into the other one. Alright. So yeah, you can do mock-ups straight from pictures of the project, but they take a little bit more work. Now what's this one? Oh, this is, wow, that's a really small image. Alright, so I'm gonna work with this really small image from Alessandra Adelaide. Okay, so I'm gonna drop that back down to 40, and that just selects this area around here. So I'm gonna deselect. Oh, because the bat wing comes right across the edge. Alright, I'll up it and see what it does. Yeah, so it's pretty much, I'm gonna have to keep the orange bit at the bottom. Oh, duplicate the layer. See, I do this all the damn time. It's a thing. Wow, that really, no. Step backward. Alright, deselect. And I'm gonna drop that back down to 30. Alright. So, as you can see, it's not perfect. I wish I could work out why my magic wand tool does the thing. That is a really bad size, but you can get the gist of it. You can get the gist of it. That's the point. And this one, oops. One up. There we go. So here we have another Mirabilia. This is one of the new ones that I also want to order. I'm now addicted to Mirabilias. It's not a good thing. My wallet is not happy about it. So again, I'm just going to get rid of this frame part first. I don't know why, but whenever I'm humming and stuff, my go-to is fucking, was it Bewitched theme? Or is it I Dream a Genie? It's one of the two. I don't even know why. Alright, so we've done that. We'll select our blue. We'll get rid of that. I didn't do the middle bit. Well, I'm just gonna go in here and I'm just gonna delete some of this. Ah, see? That's what happens sometimes. I mean, you can go in and do it a bunch closer. I'm not gonna really worry about it too much because, yeah, you get the idea. But, yeah. Alright, that's done. And we can drag it over. Anyway, with this one, because I haven't gone in and cleaned up all the rest, you can see the blue in there. And you wouldn't usually stitch that. So, you gotta sort of... You can take your time and do it, but, yeah, I get kind of lazy too, so... Yeah. But you get the idea. And that's how you do mock-ups. So, yeah. Anything else I wanted to say? I don't think so. Yeah. Actually, I wonder if I still have the pixel doll in here. Old. Here we go. Here's all my old photoshopping stuff. Here's a bonus. Yeah, so edgy. Yeah. I used to do website design and graphics and stuff. And there's another one. That took a bit. I wish I still had the coding for that I could show off because that was fucking awesome. What it was pointing at the fucking screen. You'd hover over an image and it would come up here, and then hover over another one, it would come up here, and if you clicked it, it would stay there. And I coded it. Coded that shit. Yeah. Alright, is that the... No, that's not it. Can't open this. Kinda sucks. As you can see, I was like super graphic designer. Not really. But again, like, it's more examples of, like, see, this one I like. This is a cool one. The better the base image that you're working off is, the more, like, the better results you'll get. This is the JPEG. Where am I moving ones? I used to be on Vampire Freaks all the time. And that's where I used to do most of my stuff. And I don't do it anymore. I don't use Vampire Freaks anymore either. Where is this doll? I know I have it in here somewhere. Nah, I guess not. That sucks. I actually still have all of these things too. Because I used to do, like, MySpace ones. And what's that one? I never did that one. I didn't do that one either. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where that doll went to, but yeah, I did it like pixel by pixel, and it was... That's a text message. Yeah, I did it like pixel by pixel, and it was cool. But, yeah. That is my tutorial for making mock-ups and stuff, and I will see you later. And hit the stop button.